Prepare to step into a world where imagination knows no bounds as we present Legends, Loot, and Lore. Join your hosts, Andrew and Joe, the dice-rolling dynamic duo who will guide you every step of the way into the realm of Dungeons & Dragons. From crafting narratives to character creation, this podcast is your gateway to becoming the hero of your own story. Whether you're a new adventurer or a seasoned traveler seeking new insights, Legends, Loot, and Lore has something for everyone. After the episode, visit our website at www.legendslootandlore.com for even more resources and exclusive content. And if you're as passionate about this adventure as we are, help support our quest at legendslootandlore.supercast.com. Embark on this odyssey with us and let the echoes of ancient tales guide you toward a destiny filled with limitless possibilities. Roll for initiative, because your adventure begins now.
Welcome, lords, ladies, and everyone in between to another fantastic episode of Legends, Loot, and Lore. Joining me today in the co-host chair is my wonderful wife, Catherine. Welcome.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here today. We are going to be recapping our fantastic weekend at PAX Unplugged, the tabletop gaming extravaganza that it is, from the Philadelphia Convention Center last weekend. We're going to talk about all the things we got to see and enjoy and talk about some fun things that we were able to do while we were down there and kind of cover the event. So we're going to recap that for you today. Let's see. So this was not your typical convention. So I'd call both of us nerdy or geeky, but you're not necessarily, you didn't grow up playing tabletop games. This was not necessarily your niche of a convention.
Yeah, like when we got married, I was really surprised to see how many games you have, because I think I played Candyland as a kid and maybe Monopoly, but like the first thing my family did was not reach for a board game.
Yeah, so we were. My father was not a big board gamer. Mm-hmm. You'd have to twist his arm to get him to play a game. But the rest of us really enjoyed board gaming. So this was a lot of fun for me. So there was a lot of heaviness on the D&D during PAX Unplugged, but there was so many other games, a lot of new games out there, a lot of Kickstarter campaigns launching and things like that. So there was a lot to it that I was very excited about. Yeah. So let's talk about this. This was a 3-day weekend. We made it a 2-day weekend. We kind of, I think we were pretty exhausted after 2 days of walking the convention floor. So we're going to recap everything that we saw, starting with day 1, Friday at noon. Really, really kicking off the entire weekend was story time with Matt Mercer.
Yep. Which I went to under duress, but ended up enjoying.
Tell us. So why weren't you looking forward to an hour of Matt Mercer talking?
I mean, I think I'm not the biggest D&D fan, so I've played, obviously, I've DM'd. I prefer a one-shot to anything else.
Yes.
And I've obviously seen and listened to Critical Role, but it's not my thing. It's your thing, which is fine. But I just didn't know what his keynote was going to end up being.
Right.
And there is nothing that makes me more uncomfortable than when they set up microphones during a panel and have people in the audience ask awkward questions. So
that's always fun. The awkward audience questions.
Thankfully, the questions had been sent in advance and were kind of curated, so it wasn't horrifying for me. But his actual presentation I thought was pretty interesting. He didn't lean as far into D&D as I thought he would.
Right.
He more talked about how gaming kind of brings the nerdy people among us together and kind of becomes this, I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, kind of becomes this like, I guess for lack of a better word, bonding opportunity.
Right. That makes sense.
Throughout it, he was also posting photos that folks from the Critical Role cast were sending, and they were all pretty funny, so that was entertaining.
Yes, indeed. And according to Matt Mercer, this was his first PowerPoint that he had put together, so kudos to him.
I feel like if that's true, then he did not put that PowerPoint together, because that was a very well done PowerPoint. That was not a newbie PowerPoint.
Well, maybe that's just it. Maybe because it was his first PowerPoint, he didn't have all the bad habits that many PowerPoint users have developed over the years.
I don't know. There was some like advanced PowerPointing happening there.
Maybe he had a little help. I don't know.
I suspect.
The story time with Matt Mercer I thought was really good. It really told. It really was a story. It was him telling his story from growing up, from a very young age, being artistic, drawing the video games that he played. He talked about a lot of the video games that influenced him over his life, all the games that he had been kind of playing. So it was a really nice history of kind of the history and background of Matt Mercer, more so than talking for an hour about D&D or Critical Role.
Absolutely. I think that's why I found it more interesting than I thought I was going to.
Right. Because
it was really more about him, and like he showed a lot of his artwork and the evolution of his artwork.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
And talked about some of the voiceover work he's done, but really talked about how one of the things that stood out to me was that he talked about how if he DM'd a game for you as he was growing up, it meant that you were like really important to him.
Right.
That was how he showed his love, which I thought was very sweet.
I just really liked that the hour was more about Matt Mercer, the person, than Matt Mercer, the DM, or whatever it might be, the voiceover artist. It was really the full. It was a nice kind of history of Matt Mercer in 1 hour. So I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was cool to see some of his influences. Some of the, like I said, the games and different things like anime that's influenced him. Saw a lot of his cosplay. He showed a lot of pictures of him growing up doing cosplay, which was a lot of fun.
Impressive cosplay, actually.
Very impressive cosplay.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. I know how much they are into it now, but even years ago, he was really well into it.
Got to start somewhere.
Yes, he do. All right, so that was our first. Because we got to PAX at about 10 a.m., a little after 10, I think.
Yeah.
And the line was wrapped around the building, and we finally got inside. Got right into got my credentials. Got right into the line for the Matt Mercer story time, and then after that, we kind of hit the floor. Mm-hmm. And met up with our friend James.
Yep.
And started to see everything that there was to see. And a couple of yes.
And you and James started to buy everything that there was to buy.
Okay. So maybe that's true.
Bad influences on one another.
Yes. Very bad influences. Yes. We enable each other to buy many dice and other game equipment and things like that. So
yep.
Guilty as charged.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that we got to see were demos of not just new games but existing games and things like that. So one of the really interesting games that I saw during our time there was a game called Pirates, Dragons, Treasure, and this is by Darkport Games. Now this game I thought was really interesting. You and James were kind of standing in the background as I was watching the demo of it.
Not for the whole thing, though.
Not for the whole. Oh no!
We came up kind of late.
You came up kind of late. So interestingly enough, Pirates, Dragons, Treasure is a card game for I think 3 to 6 players is what they say. And really what you do is out of the cards, you are a pirate. So you pick which pirate you are going to be. And then throughout the game, you have to assemble a crew, and your crew has, they've got their own abilities. So they add things to it. You also have to equip a ship, and you build your ship out. So you get the basic ship, you get some additional capabilities to that. I think it's about 2 to 3 cards that you use to build that ship. And throughout all this, throughout kind of the building of your crew and ship, you're bartering and interacting with the other players at the table. They encourage you to cheat. There are consequences if you do get caught cheating, but it's a lot of fun. And ultimately, at some point what you do once you have your crew and the morale of the crew is high, you've got your ship assembled, you can go after and try to defeat the dragon. And you based on the overall capabilities of your ship, you have X number of health to try to attack the dragon, and then you go into the dragon attack and hopefully you defeat it. And that's kind of the ultimate goal of the game, is to one of you has to try to ultimately defeat the dragon while trying to prevent your other pirates from doing the same. So it was a lot of fun. It's really a high speed game. I think they say it's about like a 30-minute playtime. So for any particular round, which is really quick. So it's not a huge investment of time, which is nice. It was really easy to pick up and understand. I think one of my favorite things was there's one of the curse cards in the game. You can curse one of your other opponents with scurvy. Nice. And the only way to overcome the scurvy curse is you actually have to, somewhere in the physical, wherever you're playing, is locate a piece of fruit. So there's no fruit card that you acquire. You actually have to go find a piece of live fruit to avoid getting scurvy, which I thought was pretty fun. So there's a whole, it's got a couple different ways of differences than your typical card game that I thought were a lot of fun, that made it unique and stood out to me. But yeah, so Pirates, Dragons, Treasure was tremendous amount of fun. Like I said, super easy to pick up, not very complicated. Single deck of cards, so there's different types of cards, and you play off of those, and based on how much coin you have determines how many or which upgrades you can buy for your ship, etc. So it's a lot of fun, but check that out. A lot of fun. The other game that we saw that I actually sat down for a full scale kind of demo of the game was a game called Varia, and Varia is by Guildhouse Games. Similar in the same realm as like Magic the Gathering. It's a deck building game. So you have, similar to D&D, there are different classes of character that you can play. So they've got a host of classes that you can choose from. Most recently, I think they came out with Samurai and Ninja are two of the new ones. But there's a lot of fun to it. It's really a one-on-one game. You've got your character, you've got some core weapons that you can reuse round after round, and you really build out your attack on your opponent through the deck of cards. So you draw 6, you plan out your attack, and then they plan out their response to your attack, whether that's defense or attacking back, whatever that may be. They plan that out, and then there's some dice rolling components to it as well. So there's D4s and D6s that you use to determine if your attack hits, and then the D4s are really to determine if the attack hits. D6s are what they use for rolling how much. There's like a base amount of damage that you do, and then you roll the D6 on top of that to see what the total damage is that you inflict on your opponent that way. But it was a lot of fun to play. Definitely more complex than Pirates, Dragons, and Treasure, but I think if you're anywhere familiar with Magic the Gathering or any of those other games, you'd probably pick this one up really quickly. Again, it was just a tremendous amount of fun to play. A lot of strategy involved in trying to kind of outwit your opponent, because there are always sorts of defenses that they can put out there to negate your attacks. So you have no idea what they're going to do until you put your attack down. So there's a lot of fun play to it. And again, really enjoyable. I mean, I went through a 1 hour long demo of the game and felt pretty confident that I could reasonably play it after learning to play for an hour. But I would definitely like to start playing that game with somebody. So I bought their season 1 set of classes. They have a season 2 set of classes that have come out, and now they're introducing them kind of in these pairs after that as well. So there's additional classes that have been released. But it's a really cool game. Something different. I thought I'm again coming from D&D and rolling the dice. I'm always a fan of bringing dice into even a card playing game. So that was a lot. That was pretty cool. What was your thought? Because you were filming, so I know it's hard to hear kind of in there. But is there anything you picked up on the game when you were watching?
I think it's part of why I just am not in love with tabletop games. It looked really complicated.
Did it really?
From where I was standing, I mean, I was literally videoing. I couldn't hear a word that was happening. Okay. But it looked interesting, but it did look like there were just a lot of pieces to it. Like, put this card down, roll the die, now you do this, and this is over here. And you were like, what was the spinny thing? Was that reducing your hit points or whatever?
The spinny thing.
You each had a thing that you turned a dial on the side.
That was tracking our health. So you start with 30 health. Mm-hmm. And as you battle, you lose health. So that was just a tracker. You could literally track your HP on a piece of paper.
Right.
It's just a matter of how that's the method they had for tracking HP.
Sure. Again, I had no idea what was going on. I was literally just, filming and trying to hold the camera steady.
Well, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
It was a long session to film. So I again, Varia was a really fun game for me. I like the strategy part of it. I really liked there was one card that I could play where you could repeat the action multiple times. So you could repeat the same attack as many times as you wanted to. So I repeated like the same attack 4 times. However, my opponent then, reacting to that, had I don't know if it was a counter spell or a counter attack that negated all of that action. So it was really interesting when you think you're like, okay, I want to do this great maneuver and really, really inflict a lot of damage, and they're like, not so fast. So that's always fun. It reminded me a lot of the combat of D&D, which is my world. So that's why I really enjoyed the game.
And obviously, I think her name was Kim that you were playing with.
Yes, Kim.
Kim was extremely animated, which I did enjoy since I was videoing. She would actually mime like, what do you call it? Pulling back the bow
and arrow.
Yeah,
yes.
that was cool. Like, she obviously very much enjoys the game. It isn't just a like demo thing for her.
No, she was definitely into the game. Well, she's known the creators of the game for some time, so so she's pretty familiar with the game, which is cool. It was nice to have somebody demoing the game that was into it and really enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I certainly took that away from it.
Yes. All right, so those are the two main demos that I really spent a lot of time going over on our weekend. There was lots of other things that we did, mainly just checking out all the different vendors, checking out a lot of the new games that were out there. There was so much cool stuff. But again, our world is mostly D&D, so that's a lot of what we focused on. And one of the first places we stopped was one of my favorite vendors for all things D&D, mainly dice, and that is Dice Dungeons out of Baltimore, Maryland. And
I didn't realize they were out of Baltimore.
They're out of Baltimore.
I like Baltimore.
But I'm not pronouncing it correctly.
Baltimore.
There you go. Get it right. So I'm saying...
Oh, you should get it right?
I should get it right. Not you. Don't give me that look. So Dice Dungeons. And for once, I walked away from Dice Dungeons table without buying a set of dice. Don't ask me how that happened. However, you were not as lucky.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to DM this campaign, I need my own set of dice.
Yes. So again, for all of our listeners, when we do the actual play of the characters that we have created, Catherine has agreed to be our DM for that campaign. We're doing Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk.
Yep.
So Catherine needed some dice for her DMing of that campaign. And
yep.
And your favorite color is?
Red. And
what color dice did you buy?
Red.
Of course you did. And a very pretty set of dice. So
Is that fizzy? What's happening?
He's playing with something. Hey,
what you got? What do you have, sir?
What do you got? What's that? What do you got? Oh, look at that.
What is it?
That is a trunk.
Jeez,
That is
dude.
a trunk.
I'm gluing those things down.
And what is this? I don't know what that is. Is that a hat box?
Probably.
Is that a hat box?
Dude, you gotta stop. How does he even get to that?
He stands up on here.
Yeah.
And he puts his front paws up here.
And knocks stuff down.
And knocks everything down.
Jerk. Hi, Jordy. Oh, he's so handsome.
Yes, he is.
He's a good boy.
Where were we?
We were talking about my dice. We were talking about Phandelver and Below.
Oh, so he said your favorite color is red.
Correct.
The dice you bought were red. So
correct.
Dice Dungeons did a Kickstarter campaign. It's been quite a few years ago now at this point. They did a Kickstarter for vegetable lo mein. They did a Kickstarter for sea glass dice, which are basically frosted glass dice. These are extremely beautiful dice. I originally backed the Kickstarter campaign. I got a green set of sea glass dice. And so Catherine walking around their table, we had already talked about it because I had mentioned them. They have red sea glass dice. And so you picked up a set of those for DMing Phandelver, correct?
Yeah, because I like red.
You like red, so check.
And I like dice with a little bit of heft to them.
Yes.
Like I like weight to my dice.
Yes, the glass dice have a nice nice weight to them. They're not too heavy, like those copper dice that I have. Those are, or even the stone dice are very heavy. Even the stone dice are very heavy.
Yeah.
But the glass are nice. They got a nice enough weight to them, but they're not too heavy.
Yeah.
Just for everyone out there now, we have a new guest on the podcast, and that is Dee Dee, aka Daredevil.
Yep. She has arrived.
She was very needy, so we brought her in here. So the sea glass dice have a nice weight to them. So they're red.
Yes.
They have a nice weight to them. What else? Is there anything else about them that you really liked? What stood out about this set?
They're just really nice looking. I mean, they're just a nice red, kind of hefty set of dice.
The numbering on them is really nice. It's easy to read.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, because there's one set I was looking at. You couldn't even see the numbers.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it'll do nicely.
Yeah, Dice Dungeons does a really nice job with their dice. I'm always impressed by their work. They just wrapped up a Kickstarter campaign for their Speakeasy dice, or what they're calling them. Liquid core dice, all named for various types of cocktails. There's gin, there's a tequila sunrise, there's a dark and stormy. They've got all sorts of ones. I don't think those are coming out until the fall, if I recall correctly, though.
I do really like the liquid core dice, but again, they're usually
so cool. They're usually acrylic, so they're light.
And they're really light.
Yeah.
Also, I roll really badly with them.
Do you really?
Yeah, I don't know.
You rolled badly all weekend.
Except
for the sea glass. That is very true. So we tested all sorts of dice over the entire weekend, and Catherine kept rolling them to test them, and consistently rolled poorly. But again, they were all like
a lot of acrylic. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then James's whole thing was, if you roll a nat 20, you have to buy them. Right. And I did roll a nat 20 with the sea glass. So
see that it was destined. It was fate.
Meant to be.
Yes, indeed. So that was what you bought at Dice Dungeons.
Yes.
I bought at Dice Dungeons another one of their quest decks. So they have these decks of cards, what they call quest decks, different themes. So if you are looking to kind of you're looking for quick ideas on sending your party on side quests, this is the way to go. These are perfect companions to your campaign. This time I picked up Partners in Crime, and I cannot wait to try this one out. I actually haven't even opened this yet, so let me pop this open. My cat is eagerly anticipating what I'm about to do here. I don't know why.
He probably likes the noise.
He does like that noise of the plastic.
Crinkly, yeah.
All right, so we've got our quest deck here. Make sure I get them all out. Oh, there we go. Well, those are the blank. They give you some blank cards as well, so you can create your own side quests. So this one is like I said, Partners in Crime. So we've got quests of, our collections this month have been low. We need to remind this town why they pay protection. Ooh, sounds like fun. And let's see. What else do we got? I'm just going to pick some cards from random here. You want to pick one?
Yeah.
Okay, pick a card, any card.
Okay.
Not that one. That
Am
one.
I allowed to show you?
That one. You
don't show you the card.
Don't show me the card. Just read it to me.
The gala next week has some amazing pieces that I'd like to liberate.
Ooh.
My brother is in charge of moving some statues in. Think you got what it takes to stand as still as a statue?
Interesting. Dee Dee is smacking her tail on the
Sorry.
On the microphone.
I mean, okay. I'm trying to control my shoulder cat.
Yes. Okay. Pick
another one.
Pick another card.
Okay.
You just get in there.
A friend of the guild has found herself in the local prison. She'll be shipped to a more secure location in a week's time, so I need a crew to earn her freedom.
Ooh, I'm gonna keep that one on top because that sounds really good. So yeah, that is just a quick example of some of the things that come in the quest decks. I've got 3 others. At New York Comic Con, I bought Coastal Threats because I'm working on that Spelljammer kind of on the high seas homebrew. I've got 4 The Crown and Far Flung Journeys. So there's a whole bunch more than just that. So they've got them all kind of themed out and some really cool things. So there's one that's just like side quest for a job board. So if they're in a town, maybe they're not so willing to leave the town. This is a way to kind of get them out and on adventure and things like that. So Dice Dungeons quest decks are another really super cool item to pick up when you're looking for some ideas for your campaigns. If they're kind of stuck in one place and you need them to go out and do things, that's one way to do it. If you're maybe the whole party's not there and you're just looking to fill in time, another great reason why you might want to use like some of the quest decks. So check out their website and we'll put all of these links in the show notes to all the things that we're talking about, so you can check them out. Other dice that we got, since we're on the topic of dice. Yes.
Misty Mountain Gaming.
So I got myself a set of dice. Where did I put them? There they are. So first things first, I bought actually, let's go even beyond that. So in my Wednesday campaign, I am playing a tiefling warlock whose patron is an undead Egyptian god. So that's the backstory to that. When I was at, I think it was the Norse Foundry booth at PAX Unplugged, they had this really cool dice storage coffin thing, and the whole front of it is Egyptian hieroglyphics, and it's super cool. So I thought that would be a perfect thing to put a set of dice in for my warlock, Silas Bloodbane. I'm like, why not? And then I found an excellent set of dice, go figure, at Misty Mountain Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
They refer to them as lava glass. It's kind of like internally like shattered glass, and these are, it almost looks like amber.
Yeah,
is kind of what they look like. They got that orangish yellow glow to them, but they're glass dice, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're some of the coolest looking dice that I've seen. Very unique. I haven't seen anything like this at any of the vendors that I've looked at online, at cons and things like that. So I think that is going to, since it's kind of a infernal history to those dice, I think I'm going to use these dice for my Silas Bloodbane character in that coffin with the Egyptian hieroglyphics. I think that's what I'm going to use. Now, what did you happen to, I mean, I'm the one that bought them, but what dice did you get from Misty Mountain Gaming?
They are a set of obsidian dice with red numbering on them.
Yes.
And it's some pretty intricate numbering. The details are really nice on that set. I'm actually looking at a picture of them right now. Yeah, they're really pretty.
Well, because you had pointed them out when we were walking around the Misty Mountain Gaming had a really large booth.
Yeah.
And at one corner you're like, ooh, look at those.
Yeah.
And then when I was purchasing my dice, the lava glass, they asked, are you sure there's nothing else that you want? And I'm like, like, you had these black dice with red lettering, and there was the same set was right in front of me. So they're like, oh, you mean those? I'm like, those are the ones. So I got those for you because I knew you would enjoy them.
Yeah. And they, again, are nice and weighty.
Weighty dice, that obsidian, again, glass dice. So that'll be a nice set to roll with. And then another new vendor that I've been following on TikTok for some time, and watching her make dice, which is always exciting. I love the process of dice making, so it's always fun to watch her account. Long Dog Dice, and they are absolutely beautiful resin dice. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, her designs are really, really beautiful.
They are.
I really like those.
Plus, she has 2 Dachshunds, and they're really cute.
Oh, the dogs that are the inspiration for the name Long Dog Dice are very cute. But I knew she was there because she had posted about it on TikTok, but she was using some space in somebody else's booth. And so we stopped by, and she had an incredible set of dice that James and I both were kind of gravitated toward. So we actually both got the same set of dice. I wanted it with silver lettering. She had she had one set with silver lettering, and that's what James bought. I also wanted the silver lettering, and so she had a set with white lettering that she was going to remove the inking from and re-ink them in silver. But there's a couple things different about that set. It's not your traditional D12 shape. It's like I don't know if it was hexagonal, but the shape of the D12 is different, and so is the D4 in this set. So she gave me a couple options on the D4 to choose from, and I chose something a little bit different than your typical kind of triangle D4. So I went with something a little unique for that set. So I'm looking forward to that. Catherine's on their site as we speak.
I am.
Are you shopping?
No.
Oh, darn.
I have 2 sets now. That's more than
I meant for me.
Oh, no.
Not that I need another set of dice.
Seriously. You go beyond Dice Goblin.
Beyond Dice Goblin?
Yeah, what's the next level? Dice Hoarder?
Is it Dice Dragon? I
guess.
I don't know what the next one is. It's bad. It's really bad.
I doubt you're the worst.
Probably not. Not. But I have quite a few sets of dice.
Yeah, you do.
But definitely check her out on TikTok. Long Dog Dice. She's a tremendous creator of resin dice. Beautiful designs. There's probably at least 2 more that I would have picked up. Because there was that time travel one. It was like a bluish purple with like the green numbering on it, like the bright green numbering, which was super cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool set. So there's definitely other stuff that I would buy if given the chance.
Yeah.
Just saying. My goodness, what else was there? Was there any other? No, that was all the dice that we bought, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was other things that we saw there that I was checking out. Another vendor that I thought was really cool was a company called Mythic Grove Productions. And a guy by the name of Gabe Hicks has developed what he calls the Session Zero system. This is something if you have issues or you're working with new players, this is a great system for helping them kind of create not so much a backstory, but create kind of the connections between the characters in the party. So create a little bit of a backstory, create a reason for why they're doing what they're doing. but it's a really simple system. It's really kind of like a 3-step system for creating this background and finding out how these different characters are connected to each other. He also wrote a book called A Kid's Guide to Tabletop RPGs, which I thought was really interesting. And it's not just about Dungeons and Dragons. It's about all sorts of tabletop RPGs. And at one point in the book, he creates kind of a flow chart of like, what are you into, all the different things that you might be interested in, and recommends different types of tabletop RPGs for you to explore with your kids. So it's a really great resource. Definitely worth checking out. I'm hoping to have Gabe on the podcast shortly. I reached out to him when I was there, and he said he'd be interested. So I'm really hoping he's going to be willing to be on the podcast. So another really cool vendor that I saw was one called Limithron, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. They are a creator, publisher of an RPG that is pirate themed, zombies, nautical. Looks really, really cool. But what really caught my eye, for me, again, being the D&D player, was they've got a rules supplement for 5th edition for nautical combat. And I thought this was really tremendously helpful, especially for me working on the Spelljammer homebrew that I'm working on. The adventuring party is going to spend a lot of the first part of the campaign on a single planet as a sailing ship. And I thought this would be perfect for me to try to build some combat adventures in and really make it as realistic as possible, because the ship takes damage and what are the ranges on the cannons and things like that, and what type of ammunition do they use. So there's a lot of great detail in this supplement that I find useful for me for my campaign. And if you're doing anything nautically themed with a ship, this is something you might really want to look at picking up. And it really wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $15 for the supplement, but that's from Limithron. They've got a whole Patreon account where you can support them. They've got tons of maps and map grids for different nautical themes, underwater adventures, different types of boats. They've got all sorts of maps for you and drawings that you can use in your campaign. So definitely check them out, support them. They would be a great resource. Again, anything to do on a boat, that's going to be my first resource for checking that out. The last vendor that I want to mention that we took a look at was, there's a vendor and a software company called Pocket Bard, and they have an iOS, Android app, and eventually to become a desktop app as well. Really for creating sound effects and environmental sounds for your games. And one of the really cool things that I liked about it was you can change the intensity of the different sound effects with a slider right within the app. So if you're like, because they were talking about like the rain. So you're outdoors in the rain. So you've got the intensity all the way up that the rain is coming down. You really hear it. Maybe you step indoors, you can slide the intensity all the way down. So you still hear kind of this rain in the background because you're indoors, but it's still raining outside. So you still kind of hear it, but it's not overpowering to the point where it's the primary sound that you're hearing. Now you crank up the fire in the fireplace and things like that. So the intensity modification of the different sound effects I thought was a super cool addition to the app itself. Again, somebody that I'm hoping to have on the podcast so we can really talk about this more in depth and really demo it so you can see how the different sounds. Maybe we'll do a little one shot or something with them and play the sounds, because they talked about ways, because again, it's really meant for right now in-person play, but they've talked about ways to integrate it into like your Discord games and things like that. So maybe we'll get them on the podcast and really get to demo it through a one shot and really see how it works. But that was another really cool one, Pocket Bard. Definitely go check them out. Again, I'll put the link in the show notes for you so you can check it out. And that was I mean, there was so much to see. I mean, there's numerous other vendors that we saw there. Those were just some of the standouts as far as we were concerned. There were so many games being demoed. Other vendors, Cobalt Press was there. They had some great stuff. Just a lot going on. We saw some demos of some other games. There's the one game that I'm not going to talk about because we bought it for my brother and his family.
Yep.
So not talking about that game at all.
Sorry, Scott.
But it's a lot of fun. I watched a long demo of it. And it looks to be a lot of fun. So you're in for some fun times this Christmas. But anyway, there was other parts to PAX Unplugged that were there. There's so much of the convention center itself was set aside for playing just random games. There were areas set up for playing D&D games, specifically Pathfinder. There was like, what was it? The National Mahjong tournament was going on or something. There was all sorts of things going on other than just the vendor. So if you wanted to just check out a game, they had a whole section of the convention center where you could just go up, check out games and play them with other people. There was a whole area where they were doing one-shots of D&D, so people could host a table and bring in people. People could sign up and try a one-shot there.
There was the paint and take, which apparently is a big deal from what I was reading, that like you have to sign up first thing in the morning as soon as it becomes available.
Oh, wow.
And you can paint your figure and take it with you.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so that seemed like a thing that I would really enjoy doing, actually.
I get most of my figures through Hero Forge, and
right.
I let them color them for me because I am not artistic and creative at all as far as that's concerned.
There was also, and I don't know if I understood this correctly because it was just kind of when we were walking around.
Yeah.
But that game library, was that just an opportunity to like grab a game and go play it in one of the play areas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed kind of cool.
Yeah, there was they had whole sections of just games you could check out, and it's like, oh, I want to play this game. Okay, cool. Here it is. Go ahead and play it. Like people in the hallways, like the games that they had purchased or brought with them, they were just sitting in the hallway playing with other people. It's just a fun time to gather around with other gamers and play some games. Like I love. Don't get me wrong. I love video games and playing them, but there's something fun and just sitting around a table playing a game, whether it be something as simple as Uno or Monopoly or getting into some of these really complex games. Magic the Gathering. There was a whole thing for Magic the Gathering there.
Yeah. I
mean, and they were buying and selling cards and my goodness. And Pokemon, did you see Pokemon was there?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot to do at PAX Unplugged. It was really impressive.
Oh, and pin trading.
And pin trading, yes.
So there not only was the opportunity to trade pins with other people, but a lot of the vendors had exclusive pins just for PAX that they were selling.
Yeah.
So that was cool because I actually really like pins. So that was kind of a fun thing for me to check out as we were there.
Yes, but you don't like trading pins. You just like acquiring pins.
Yeah, because I acquire pins that I love, and then I'm not going to give them to anyone else.
That's a problem. You have to like include some that you're willing to part with. So I know. That's why you have locking backs on all of your pins.
So I don't lose any of my pins.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and the other thing I think that's just always nice at these conventions is the other people.
Yeah.
There are people. So they're just generally kind. And that one woman gave you honey. I mean, they were just.
Yes, thank you. I don't know your name. We were both fans of Long Dog Dice standing there, and what was the reasoning? Why did she give me the honey?
Well, she was dressed in all bee
stuff.
So
yes, cosplaying.
I think it was on theme, but I don't know why. She also gave honey to James.
Yeah.
So maybe we can ask James why she was handing out
I can't remember how the conversation started, and then
she was lovely though.
She was super nice.
And I found that was pretty much everyone. Like, you know, by Saturday, Friday was pretty chill, but Saturday was pretty crowded and people were bumping into each other and everyone was just very kind. And that's what I like the most about these things is that people are nice to each other and you don't find that everywhere. Yeah.
There's just, I think probably the only drawback that I see with these conventions is they almost pack in too much stuff.
Yeah.
Because there were a bunch of panels that I wanted to see that I just didn't have time for. Cause I was more doing interviews and trying to find content for the podcast. So that was kind of my focus, but like, I would have loved to go check out some of the panels. I'd hoped to get into a D&D one shot and the table was full, so I didn't get a chance to play on that. So there's other things that I really wished that I had gotten a chance to do while I was there. Yeah. But I still feel like we still accomplished quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw just about everything.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't end up going back on Sunday.
Right.
That and dead feet.
Yeah, we were after 2 days of being on that concrete floor. It's like,
yeah,
your feet have had enough.
Absolutely.
So wear comfortable shoes. If you ever go to a con, wear comfortable shoes. Bring multiple sets of shoes so you can change, because sometimes even just changing the pair of shoes that you're wearing is a big help. Stay hydrated.
Absolutely. That was a toughie for this one.
Yeah.
Aramark was not as up on refilling their refrigerators as I'm accustomed to when we go to like conventions at Javits.
Yeah, for the size of the Philadelphia Convention Center, I feel like their food was a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
That would be probably one of the comments. And what's really nice is that they are conveniently located basically right above and next to the Reading Terminal Market. But the problem is you've got hundreds, thousands of people at the convention and everybody goes down and crams into the Reading Terminal Market and the place is just a mob scene. So it was a nightmare trying to get in there, get through there. We miraculously found 3 stools next to each other at the deli counter to get some sandwiches. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I'm now used to, like, New York Comic-Con has really stepped up their game as far as food is concerned. They've got like food everywhere. I feel like in that.
Well, and I think that's just the Javits. Like the Javits has
absolutely.
a lot of good food options. But I think the biggest thing is that they keep stuff stocked. And that was what I was finding at PAX was like by the end of Saturday, you couldn't even get a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, by the end of day 2, the shelves were bare as far as beverages were.
The vending machines were empty.
Yeah, the vending machines throughout the complex were empty. There was the one vending machine with like 2 iced teas in it, but the machine thought they were out of stock, so you couldn't even get to those like remaining iced teas in there. It was tough. So that would be one of my. I'd say bring snacks. Like if you're going to go to the Philadelphia Convention Center, bring snacks, bring beverages, bring something to eat. And I will tell you Catherine's favorite tip for conventions, those collapsible stools.
Which I think I mentioned during the Comic-Con.
When we talked about Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Worth talking about again.
Absolutely. I mean, so good that after Friday, James was on Amazon trying to see if he could get one delivered to his hotel overnight. Right. They're great.
They're phenomenal.
I mean, it's just an easy, like, you don't have to sit on the floor. If there's not a chair around, you can just whip it out and sit wherever.
Absolutely. They're just circular little collapsible stools. I mean, what was the maximum weight rating on those things?
Oh, like 400 pounds.
Yeah, it's like insane.
Yeah.
It's like a tiny little stool. Like you're like, how is that thing going to hold up? But it does. They're They're great stools. So we'll put a link to the stools.
Yes.
The Amazon link to the stools in the show notes for everyone out there.
They're also lightweight, so they're not obnoxious to carry.
Right. Cause I mean, they're just plastic.
Yeah.
So they're very lightweight.
I had both of them in a backpack and I was fine all day. So.
Yeah. All right. So I think that covers everything that we did at PAX Unplugged for the weekend of December 1st to the 3rd.
Absolutely.
Philadelphia Convention Center.
And the people are never going to realize how many interruptions there were as we recorded this.
Absolutely. That is my editing skills.
Mad editing skills.
Mm-hmm. So many interruptions in this pod while we were recording this podcast.
Mostly cat related. Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's our life.
We love our cast. We've got 5 of them in there. They're the best. So anyway, thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. Again, we'll post all the links in the show notes for all the different vendors that we talked about. Feel free to jump on Discord and ask any questions there. You can always email us at podcast@legendslootandlore.com. You can also please support the podcast. We'd love to keep doing this. So help us out. You can go to legendslootandlore.supercast.com and support us there. And other than that, I hope you have a great holiday, because this is the holiday season. Hanukkah is upon us right now.
Yep.
Christmas is coming up soon. And hopefully you get everything that you wanted for the holidays. More dice.
No.
No?
No more dice.
Well, more dice for you, not for me.
I don't need more dice either.
No, for them, not you.
For them, yes.
For them,
I hope you get all
yes.
the dice you want.
Yes. To all the listeners, may you get all the dice you could ever possibly want. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Legends, Loot, and Lore. We hope you've enjoyed immersing yourself in the realms of legends, uncovering hidden loot, and delving into captivating lore. But the journey doesn't end here. For exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and access to our community, visit legendslootandlore.supercast.com. There you'll be able to support the podcast, where you can join our Discord server for lively discussions and subscriber-only content, and connect with fellow enthusiasts. Stay connected with us on Instagram and Facebook at Legends, Loot, and Lore to continue on the quest. By following our social media channels, you'll be the first to know about upcoming episodes, bonus content, and exciting announcements. If you've enjoyed your time with us, we kindly ask you to rate and subscribe to this podcast. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue producing captivating episodes and embarking on new quests. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We're thrilled to have you by our side as we unravel the legends, uncover the loot, and delve deeper into the lore. Until next time.